saw it. Somebody had it on sale for $250. I thought, yeah, I thought, what in the?
$250.
Yeah, but anyway, no. Obviously, I said we're not interested in that book.
Is golf course still doing the cart paths this spring?
Yeah, I don't think so. I think that got. Maybe we won't have as much rain this spring.
I wouldn't bet on that. You don't want the rain is when it comes, and you need it so it doesn't come.
All right, we're going to call the Board of Public Safety meeting to order. Begin with the minutes of the last meeting.
Mr. Mayor, I move we approve the minutes of the February 9th meeting.
Motion second to approve the minutes from the February 9th meeting. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Any amendments to the agenda? Hearing none. No items in our old business and our new business. The Tipton Baseball Parade route. We have their application for the street closure. This deviated all from prior years.
No, it's the same as it's always been.
Any questions?
I don't have any questions. Numbers?
It's a little lower this year than it has been, especially in the younger leagues. I just think people are not wanting to drive to Atlanta any longer. So hopefully that improves. We have a facility here in town. I think we're right around the 240 to 250 mark. Older leagues, the numbers are a little higher in those leagues than they have been. But
I've seen Jake's pleas on Facebook about
yeah,
the younger ones.
yeah, we're down. I think Pee Wee's down 2 or 3 teams this year compared to normal. Our T-ball, I don't know where they're at. They're down as well. Cal Ripken League, I believe last year we had 10 teams. This year I think we're at 7 to maybe 8 if we can get enough coaches. But we do anticipate having senior Babe Ruth again this year with Howard County, so that's
Good.
exciting. So,
Need a motion to approve?
I do.
So move.
Second. A motion and a second to approve the parade route for the Tipton Baseball Leagues. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Good luck.
thank you.
Motion passes. Next in department business. First, my report, 2 items that may be of interest to the board work. So the downtown historic district, this has been an effort, actually I started at the Chamber of Commerce, has formally been approved through the state and the federal government. What this does is provides incentives for downtown property owners to fix up their properties. So it makes available some grant opportunities, and plus it makes available some tax credits. Commiserate to those repairs. This actually falls in line with some of the work that we're doing for the downtown and its historic redevelopment. And then second, the city's application for our second LPA grant application was approved through the state, NDOT, and then of course those are federal dollars, but that grant total is almost $6.7 million. So we're going through the process now on drafting an RFP to select the preliminary engineering firm to select them and move that project on. So this project scope will be from Independence east to Ash Street. So at least it will fix the areas that NDOT had declared as end of life through the city of Tipton, from Buck Creek on the west side all the way to Ash Street on the east side.
Good.
With that, transition fire department. Or do I need to switch these?
What's that?
Do I need to switch this order? Because you always get the facility updates and you really take.
I'm still waiting on Captain Shepherd. So
He's in delay mode.
any questions over the monthly report?
No.
pretty busy through the snowstorm. I think we talked about that the last time, but these are the numbers officially from the whole month of January.
You usually only see one, maybe two structure fires.
Yeah,
So 4 is pretty high.
yeah, and that was all in 1 week.
I saw that all in 1 week.
It was crazy.
Any odd locations like Jefferson Township or pretty far outside the city?
Let's see, I believe it would be one in Liberty Township.
Yeah.
That was Sunday night, I believe the 25th. There was one, it was 350 North, just on the east side of Heartland Church. They were struggling with getting people there, and it was one of those where they had a salamander in the crawl space,
Right.
trying to fall pipes. So it was in a tough spot to get to. And they didn't have many people or apparatus responding. I don't think any were actually in the city. We had Cicero Township. And we might have one or two in the city. I don't recall the addresses. I know there was at least 2 in Cicero Township, 1 in Liberty.
Ken, were you here last time this came up about?
No.
So we're kind of in this spot where
You and I have chatted a little bit about it. but-
we're in this spot where the city, it's not that we don't want to provide fire service to these
Right,
places.
absolutely.
We want to save lives and help people, but there's no compensation method for it. So it sounds like we responded to 4 structure fires, 0 of which were in the tax base, which we want to do, but we can't. Charity's always nice, helping people's always nice, but you can't do it for free forever. So we've talked about, should we explore fire territories or fire districts? And,
Yeah.
that's where the conversation stopped, but something we have to think about strategically long-term.
And I'll say there's other cities that are having the same conversation. Greensburg comes to mind as I talked to their mayor. In fact, when we were having this conversation, their department was outside their city limits responding to fires.
I mean,
It's another impact SDA one that these weren't conversations prior
Right.
to, but when we see our funding getting cut, it is, when we can't continue to invest city dollars in outside the jurisdiction.
and how can we provide the best service too with, 4 structure fires is it doesn't seem like a lot, but it's a lot. Coupled with all the ALS runs and stuff we're trying to do. We want to provide that, but if this trend continues and firefighters are going to want more pay, or we're going to need another firefighter or more paramedics. You can't do that off the backs of the city taxpayer. It's not scalable. Right. So Yeah, we want to.
My hope would be there's some kind of compensation that can be agreed upon.
Yeah.
That way you don't have to stop it, but there's at least a compensation offer that.
So, from a township perspective, then, I know the legislature's still been, I mean, how, if, I'm just saying this, I mean, if townships around were eliminated, how would that?
No, yeah, none of the legislation currently would impact any of the townships. I don't, maybe Prairie, because I think there's a clause that says if they have a fire department within the township, it's exempt from either bills.
Oh,
The House
okay.
or the Senate side.
Okay.
Prairie could be the only one.
But
implicated in that.
the trend is continuing where it was, okay, now townships can merge if you want. Well, townships probably should merge too. We're just going to get rid of them. And there was a bunch of criteria. If you don't have a city that's a certain amount of population, if you only have volunteer, like the trend will just continue. And it would be better to be proactive than just wait until the state says do it. And that's never worked out well for us. So.
The bill submissions keep getting more and more aggressive. it
Yes.
seems. Yeah.
You hear some of them talk. They're saying one of them said townships are antiquated. Well, that's language of eventually just get rid of it.
You did mention on the, I believe there are public safety lits. I know there's EMS lit that can be enacted. If the county adopted a countywide EMS lit, that would eliminate them coming up with the subsidy that they pay us. It could covering the entire county. I mean, obviously, if an EMS lit was enacted, it would be way more money coming in than what the subsidy is that they're paying.
Yeah.
It would allow each of the volunteer departments that have been asking for an increase in their subsidy for multiple years to have access to more money. And it's something like if the county and the city enacted it, I mean, it'd be a lot of money. It would allow us to hire a second paramedic, leave the firefighters on the engine, pay them what they're worth, and we can get actual, like, people that are willing to work. We tend to get, we have part-time paramedics, but they all have full-time jobs that pay quite a bit more than what we're paying part-time. So they're like, no, I'm not gonna, I can pick up overtime with my regular job and make way more than what I'm making here. So if that was enacted, just an EMS lit, it would solve a lot. The public safety lit, the fire territory could do a lot of good for the city and county, everyone. So, I mean, I've mentioned it before, I've discussed it with the mayor, I'm open.
Well, if we're serious about this, and we've talked about it for a long time, what's the next step? Meeting with the county, meeting with the township?
On which topic?
Well, I mean,
The lit
we just got to
or-
start somewhere.
As far as fire territory, it would have to be, I'm assuming it would have to be the township trustees
Right.
that would agree. I know Madison Township would join in an instant with us. They asked us if we could basically cover their area a couple of years ago for like $50,000 a year. And I'm like, I don't know if that's possible right now. But we can't skip over Cicero Township to create a territory with Madison Township. It has to be continuous.
I mean, the ideal outcome would be a countywide fire territory with a lit
would.
tax or an EMS tax or whatever you want to call it. I don't really care. But
The EMS lit would be separate from like a fire
Right.
territory. So, I mean,
But the fire territory establishes jurisdiction of who covers what, right?
it would, if you did a fire territory, it would be under one control.
Right.
And then they would have to do a study basically to see what number of stations would be sufficient to cover the county and where they would be. And they would be, most likely be staff departments.
Yeah.
And I believe there's two organizational types. There's fire territories and there's a secondary.
There's fire districts.
District.
Thank you.
Fire districts are not typically as advantageous as a territory. Territories are typically the way to go.
Then one of them gives you the opportunity to, from the assessed value, to levy or collect. I don't remember which
I
one
believe
it
that
is.
should be the territory.
Okay.
You can assess the fire territory tax or fire tax, whatever it is.
Which we don't do now because we don't have one.
No.
And that makes sense. It's using net assessed value as a proxy for this is the value of property you have to cover for fire
The
damage.
SCA one, they capped that with new territories that formed after, I believe it was maybe July 1st of last year. They capped that at 40 cents per whatever.
$100? Yeah.
Um,
Of course they did.
Which, I mean, does put a hurting on the possibility of updating some of the services and getting the stations put in that are needed.
Right.
East Madison, I believe they were at East or South Madison. One of them was like 86 cents is what theirs was. And they cranked that pension base up and they were getting people from Greenfield and all over the place coming. buying all kinds of new equipment, building stations, and basically covering all of the entire south part of Madison County. Like I said, they were at about 86 cents per 100, where now, if we joined one, it would be, created one, it'd be capped at 40 cents.
Okay.
All right. This month, we started back up with the leadership team meetings. One-on-one with mayor. We had our bi-weekly building progress meetings. We've got one Wednesday. Gentleman from Etica came in, I believe it was Friday morning, and did like a final walkthrough, very punch list on the 3 new showers that were put in. They were very minor. I think one was getting some grout residue on the tile. One was a little bit of epoxy flakes off the bottom of a door frame. Something else that was very minor. Ceiling tiles cracked. I think it must have cracked when I put it in. They are open for use now. So now, I believe he said he's hoping Thursday to start converting our single shower stall over to the full bathroom.
Cool.
So being that it's only 1 instead of 3 that they'd be working on at a time, that one should go fairly quick. We did have electrical fire in engine 10. They called late Thursday or Friday morning, I don't recall, said that they've been digging in it. And the main wiring loom that's about 1.5 inches in diameter, the more they dig through it, the more they find burnt wires. So they're trying to figure out if it's a Spartan issue, which is the manufacturer of the chassis, or if it's a Spencer issue, which is the one that put the body on and the lights and the pump. It could be a while by the time they figure out everything. They do have they have the schematics for all the wiring diagrams. But last I talked to them, which was late last week, they said the more they dig, the more they find. So hopefully we can get that figured out soon and then get that situation ready.
The department's been able to sufficiently handle calls with ladder 10.
Yes, the only downside to, there's a couple downsides to using ladder 10 as our front line. It doesn't have as much storage space, so there's been some equipment that we have to leave off, and it only carries 300 gallons of water where the engine has 1,000. So if we pulled up on a car fire, we're either gonna have to make sure we lay in from a hydrant or get engine 21 coming to us from the word go. That being said, our guys know the trucks. They're comfortable with using whatever. So I don't foresee any issues. We have had to use the ladder as our first responding pumper in the past, and it may do. So, like I said, hopefully we get some sort of answer from them soon. Still down 3. Tyler is supposed to go to the doctor on March 10th. He feels like he's rehabbed to the point. They actually told him that his torn Achilles is now stronger than his other leg. So he's got to work on strengthening his other leg to match the repaired one. But with the 12th and the 20th were the 2 dates that the potential hires went to Public Safety Medical. They said, Public Safety Medical said expect the results March 3rd and March 10th. So we've still got a little bit to wait before we get those back. Hopefully they can get them pushed through a little quicker. I'm not sure, Jeff, when your 2 that are in the academy, when did they go to Public Safety Medical last year? Was it after May last year? Yeah. So they've been through it, but the last ones I hired last year were before May. But now they have to do treadmill stress tests and a couple new things that they haven't had to do before. So the one that went on the 12th, he said he thought everything went well. So no issues. So if we get those back March 10th or so, by the time we sign them, send them into the 77th fund for approval, we're probably looking at mid to late March as an official hire date, or mid to late April for a hire date. Trainings, they've done the monthly audit review and continued joint training with Station 20. Our MS crew did receive a thank you card from the stroke patient they went on recently. Thanking them, and got her to the appropriate facility in quick amount of time. She has made a full recovery. It's good news. I believe the Assistance Firefighters Grant should be opening, like last I heard, it was late February. Okay, so we shall see. Community engagement, they have attended local sporting events, some youth and some high school. I did receive an email from one of the teams that's on the Mayor's Youth Council asking if we had any public events coming up they could help out with. We don't have anything at the time, but I told them if we had something come up, I would definitely get a hold of them and see if they were available. Public feedback, as I said, the EMS crew. I've heard a few people say, we had the one during the snowstorm we talked about last month, that they had to take the stage to IU Fishers in the middle of the snowstorm, and then the most recent I just spoke of. That is all that I have.
The questions, Chief Barry? Thank you. Yourself?
Morning.
Morning.
I'm gonna make mine short because Captain Shepherd did show up, and his presentation will be a lot better than what mine is. Just real quick, department summary, new hires doing the academy, they're doing great. Actually, spoke to both of them Friday night when they got back. Both enjoying it. They're actually in the breakout phases now, so they're doing firearms, they're doing defensive tactics, emergency vehicle driving. They're starting that program. Officer Riley's doing firearms this week, so she'll actually be out shooting. On a big note, a big plus, Officer Shank was named squad leader of his crew. So when I went through, there was 4 squads, A, B, C, and D. I'm not sure how many there is now. But he was actually picked by his squad members to run for squad leader, and he was nominated as that. So one of our officers is in charge of his squad, so that's really good for him. He's been very highly praised for that. Joe mentioned most of the building. They're actually framing out the rest of the windows on my side this morning. We're doing mine right now since I have the meeting here. Joe said the bathrooms are complete.
Did you pick the worst days, did you?
Well, they're on the inside frame.
No.
The windows are in. Yeah, the windows in, but they're just framing them out. One concern we think we have a remedy for is, and it wasn't thought of when they put the windows in, our interview and interrogation room. These windows now open. We're kind of concerned with having an open window in an interview room. You know, if the detective or someone steps out to go talk to another officer, that they've got access to that window. So Mark is actually looking for, he believes there's some caps that can go where the lever is, take the lever off, put a cap on it so that window cannot be unlocked. Worst case scenario, I mean, the window could have always had a chair thrown through it anyway if someone really wanted to get out, but
I'll make it easy.
yeah, so we're working on that. Hopefully it's an easy fix. That just wasn't thought of when
No, you're right.
the project started. The main thing, like I said today, Captain Shepherd's here. He's going to talk about the wellness program that I did mention last month. He's going to go into way more detail than I can about it. He's done an amazing job on it. One thing I did talk to Nate about a couple weeks ago, obviously Captain Shepherd has kind of ran this whole program so far, and he's presented to the foundation. We've gotten a grant through the foundation for funding. One thing that we're looking for now is to begin a 501c3 for the program. And obviously that application process has to be funded. I had talked to Nate and asked if there may be a possibility that the city would be able to pitch in to help cover that. Since this program is going to cover all first responders within the whole county, I thought, it might be fair for us to put our portion in. He believes it probably is going to be less than $1,000 for the application process. I just think that shows that we're on board with this program. We're going to assist wherever we can. Like I said, Ray's done all of the legwork so far, and we're all very thankful for that. So he'll speak more about that here in a few minutes. I do have one officer that will be leaving in April. Officer Tansey did accept an offer from Westville Police Department. This is the process that he was in last year. He was in the final team last year. They did contact him beginning of the month and asked if he was still interested. They had a slot open. He still was, just has to pass his drug test and what would be their board of works meeting. Believe the hire date would be April the 6th. So we will be more than likely losing Officer Tansey now to Westfield. Two academy graduates to be done on April the 24th. So we're going to have a little bit of a lull there where we're going to be working on some stuff. Do want to give a shout out to Officer Maddox. He is here today. National SRO Day was last week. As you all know, Dave is a huge asset to the school. The kids are going to be even the ones that go to school and knows him, they know him. Anybody sees him there. So just thank you and a huge asset to the school. Some operation, just saying the date. It's actually the same date as the academy graduation. April the 24th is going to be our FOP social this year. We'll be at the fairgrounds. It usually starts at 6 p.m. Budget numbers are attached within your packet. Projects, Joe spoke about the building. I was down at Route Upfitters, our vehicle maintenance guy last week. All of our cars are in, all of our equipment's in. He is working on those. He's hoping by the end of the month we should be receiving those cars. The only thing that will have to be done is once the cars are built, the trade-ins we're doing, we will take one down at a time, switch out the mobile radio and the radar, put those in the new car, give us the new car, strip the old car. So it'll be a 1-for-1 as we go through that process. Continued sporting events and walkthroughs through the school. So I already mentioned National SRO Day. And we did start accepting applications, pre-applications until March the 7th due to Officer Tansey leaving. On March the 7th, we are going to complete our physical, our written, and our interviews all on the same day. We're going to try to streamline that instead of just dragging it out one year out this week and one year out this week. There are new protocol testings for the academy now. Instead of the push-ups, sit-ups, mile and a half, 300-meter run, they've switched to more of a obstacle course type testing. You've got kettlebell carry, you've got walk up and down stairs, you've got to go over a hurdle, under a hurdle, remember a picture, give that description at the end of the testing thing. I'm going to go ahead and give a shout out because I know it's coming. Some of these items are very large and we don't have them. I don't know why the academy implemented this without providing these topics, but we have to have stairs. We have to have a 4-foot high fence to jump over. And all these things have to be mobile and ready to move and set up and take down, all that stuff. Red Diamond actually spoke to Captain Leisure, and they were willing to build and donate the stairs and the fence to the police department. So he's working with them on the specs to have everything built, donated to us. We'll store it, house it, and then every time we have to run a test or anything like that, we can pull it out and wherever we're going to test that, we'll use it. So a big shout out to Red Diamond for that.
Still need a fence and what else?
They're doing the fence and I'm doing the stairs.
So you got everything then?
Everything else, right now, I believe we have, they have to wear a 15-pound weighted vest. We've already purchased that. They have to carry 225 kettlebells. We can work through those. Everything else is pretty much done except for the stairs and the fence. And as soon as they're done, that'll be a huge help for us. Unless you have any questions, I'll go ahead and turn it over to Ray.
Just one quick one. So have we gotten any applications yet?
3.
And you're going to close it on March 7th?
Yes.
How fast would it take to get someone hired? I guess
So if
probably
we
end of
do
April.
the physical, the written, and the interview all on that same day, if they pass everything, they'll get the full application. That's where they have to bring in, a copy of their,
Mhm.
everything, credit score, all that kind of stuff. We can request that to be back within a week or so. During that time, we can do background checks, get that done, and then it would be, we do our interviews and we already know who we're going to recommend for the board work, so maybe by the April meeting. Anything else?
Only other thing for me, it's not actually for you, but SRO Maddox, you are the first performance recognition for any department in the city. I think exclusive to a person. So I don't know if you wanted to say a few words. You get the opportunity to set the expectation moving forward. So if you want a 10-minute speech, no? Well, want to at least recognize that you were recognized by the department. So thank you for what you do.
I just want to thank him also. I spent some time out at school and I see him walking the hallways, and I don't know that there's one kid that walks by him without saying something, whether it's sarcastic or not, but every one of them say something to him. A lot of them just give him a big hug. So thank you for all you do at the school.
All right, Captain Shepard, the floor is yours.
All righty, well, I appreciate you guys having me. Basically, I'm gonna try to make this short. I can get very, very long-winded when it's stuff like this, so I will try my best not to do that. The First Responder Wellness Program kind of came out, it was born out of necessity. What happened was, if you guys remember a few years ago, we had a rash of teen suicides, and Tipton County was bumped up from, I don't know the number before, but unfortunately we were number one in the state for suicide rate, or per capita. Obviously, I've been around for a while, and I can always say that Tipton County is known to be reactive instead of proactive on a lot of fronts. And this was unfortunately one of those that had been a reactive stance. What it was I got a phone call from one of the county guys wanting to get one of the deputies and to talk to somebody because of getting response to the same 2 teen suicides in the course of 48 hours himself. So unfortunately in that situation, I was able to basically borrow and steal to get him to talk to somebody. In years past, we kind of made it work with our jail medical company and other sources like that. And unfortunately, it just kind of had faded off over time. So that conversation kickstarted between myself and the department matron. I had talked to Chief Stout about it. I had talked to some of the fire chiefs and everything else. And overall, there was a consensus that we needed to do something, which is where this program kind of started. In this packet of stuff, I tried to give you kind of just a baseline overview of what the program offers. I'm a big picture guy. That's probably my downfall, but I'm a big picture guy. So I, of course, look at a wellness program's overall wellness. There is plenty of studies. Actually, part of my master instructor thesis, this is one of my topics, is going over exactly what goes into a wellness program that can lead to better retention of officers, especially in a community like ours, where per capita we're not going to be able to pay people as much as other agencies. So the issue really I think can benefit a lot. It can benefit obviously entities keeping officers and firefighters, but it can also lead to an overall wellness where people will actually want to stay around. So the first fork of what we were trying to do with the wellness program is establish something for mental health wellness for that front of it. 4C was fantastic from the minute I brought it up with him. In June of 25, I think, maybe July, we had started a test, basically to see where the downfall, if there was one, of this program would be. So the first step was we did a test with just the sheriff's department, just the sheriff's department employees to kind of gauge if anybody was going to do any of this. The common denominator for the board members, which the fire chief and the police chief are on, we all know first responders, and it's going to take us 3 hours to tell you anything about us anyway. So we made sure that we got 5 free consultations with 4C for every single first responder in the county before it goes to insurance or anything like that. And what we've had is, I know for a fact, and of course it's all, I don't know the names of the people that are going and taking advantage of this. Nobody will. It's completely confidential. All falls under HIPAA and everything else. But I do know that in the last 2 or 3 months alone, there has been 4 additional people that have gone and taken advantage of this, which it takes us up to about 6 total. All in all, mental health is very much of a stigma. It's a stigma around it. It's still a taboo topic, especially in a rural community like ours. So it's something that I've continued to push that, hey, listen, if you're not right, you need to go talk to somebody. You don't have to tell anybody, just take advantage of it. And the real important thing that I always tell every single of the 250 responders in Tipton County is that nobody has to know, and it doesn't have to be work related. If you're having problems at home, if you're going through a divorce, if you're having issues with a kid or whatever the situation is, you as the responder can go up and take advantage of this. Another note to mention while I'm talking about that is right now it doesn't include family members or significant others or anything like that. It is just the responder. There is a bunch of other agencies that have a version of this, and it covers the entire family unit of each responder. That is not what we're going for right now. Speaking on behalf of the board, we're focused on that responder number 1. So this first page kind of goes over what the program is. It benefits all police officers, firefighters, EMTs, paramedics, jail deputies, patrol deputies, dispatchers, EMA personnel, and any other agency personnel directly involved with first responders. Currently, obviously, they get 5 free mental health counseling sessions. The goal is to expand into other avenues. I've already had conversations with IU Health. They're willing to come to the plate and talk about physical therapy consults. I'm blanking on the other word, like fitness consults, things like that, that could be a benefit to the responder as well. But that's all pipe dream stuff. Right now, we're focused on that mental health aspect of it. The biggest thing is the responder pays nothing. We're not asking for any, right now, we're not asking for the city to fund this. We're not asking for the county to fund this. Right now, I'm trying to pursue grants. I'm trying to do that. What we've come to realize, and what I brought up to the board in our December meeting, was that we've run into an issue with government entities receiving grants outside of government projects. Wellness is not a government project, unfortunately. I think it should be. That's my own personal opinion, of course. But because of that, I presented to the board with the goal of becoming a 501c3. I've had a conversation with a couple different attorneys, and I think, obviously, because of the restriction on funding, I think that my best route to do is kind of to do it on our own and to get the 501c3 established. By doing that, and Chief Stout brought this up a little bit, was from everything I've read, everybody I've talked to with the Department of State, the IRS, everything like that, we're looking at just under $1,000, hopefully, to get that going, because there's licensing fees and some things like that. I actually have a meeting this afternoon with the Farmers Bank to establish an account and all that stuff to get that going. As was said, we did receive a $9,000 grant from the foundation to go, that's earmarked specifically for mental health for responders. So we're working on doing that. That's all. Of course, it was written to the wellness program as an umbrella of the sheriff's department. So it is recorded at the auditor's office, but we're trying to veer away from that in the future, and obviously have a standing 501c3, because we have a board of directors and they tell me what to do and not to do. So they kind of reel me in sometimes when I need to be reeled in. But that is kind of the basis of it. And on that first page, it breaks down exactly who's on the executive committee or the board of directors. The thing I wanted to point out with that is there is a representation for every entity in the county. This is not just the sheriff's department doing something, or the city doing something, or anything like that. It is every single agency has a liaison or a representative on that board. As you flip through here, this is just a draft of what the original what the program currently is operating under. However, that because it was an umbrella under the sheriff's office at that point, prior to the conversations of becoming a standalone program. That was kind of just the general information, and that stuff will all be copied into a new bylaw standard for the program itself. One thing that was brought up in the latter part of last year was the conversation about establishing a critical incident stress management team. Every county, to my knowledge, almost every county has this team. We're not trying to reinvent the wheel. We're not trying to build everything on our own. Basically, what the foundation of this is there'll be 7 people from each entity, a representative from each, from dispatch, from fire, from EMT, from medical, from corrections, from county law enforcement, city law enforcement, that will be a liaison to them. So after any kind of vital or aftermath or debrief kind of situation, that person will just be tasked with checking in on people and checking in on the responder. And then there'll be that first touch of the program to bridge them with resources if they need them. And we actually have our first meeting with that team tomorrow to get trainings put together and to go from there. And then the last page, I just copied an MOU. This MOU was from last June. One of the first parts of this program too is, before I had to kind of reel it in a little bit, we had the MOU standing with the Sharpsville Medical Office with Dr. Andrews. She was willing to be a non-chronic clinical type of physician at no cost to the responder. So if I'm just going to use it as an example. If you have an ear infection or, something like that, you can call, get an appointment, go in, see them at no cost to the responder and no cost to the employer's insurance or anything like that. And then obviously they can pay for their own prescriptions. But that was just one little bridge that we were trying to do with this program. So being that the main goal right now is the wellness, and in my conversation, I want to say it was either last week or week before last week, Chief Stout, about trying to get the funding to establish the 501c3 is kind of where we're at now. I would love to be able to use the money that we got from the foundation for it, but the foundation, there was a specific earmark. That grant was only for the mental health side of it. So I'm unable to use that at this point. And I want to explore, fundraising opportunities and things down the road, but I also have to keep in mind that we are a small community and we have various things that we are trying to support. So I'm cautious to start a fundraising venture too early. I want to exploit some of those grant opportunities that are out there. And I think, and my recommendation to the board, and I think I have 2 of them here, so correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's kind of where we're leaning, right? To do that 501c3, we can get access to a lot more additional funding opportunities as a nonprofit, which we are a nonprofit. We're not making any money from it, but that just makes it a legal nonprofit. So I've had conversations with Beck's Foundation, the Campbell Family Foundation, with a bunch of different foundations around Central Indiana, and their number one thing is they can't donate to you. They can't establish a relationship until you're a 501c3.
Mhm.
So that kind of opened my eyes. That I tried to explain to the board that we want to do this. We have the data saying it's a good thing to do. I'm willing to do the headache of it. So let's get it started. So that's kind of where the basis of it was. So I will shut up now because, like I said, I can get long-winded about it. But is there any questions for me related to it? So I've kind of accidentally become the face of it. I didn't mean to.
I don't have any questions, but thank you for all your work you've done. I mean, I think mental wellness is something much needed. So
Yes, I think it's a taboo topic, but it goes hand in hand with this stuff a lot. Anything else for me?
Not for you.
Okay. Well, hey, I appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
So the one thing I do want to say, and Ray mentioned, is, with law enforcement, with fire, there's things that we take home that we don't want to talk about. We're not going to talk about it with our family or for our wives or our children or anything like that. There's half the times that we're not going to talk about it with somebody else at work. But there are those calls that we do go on, and there's 2 that stick out in my mind that if I think about it, I'm going to break down about. But to be able to have that resource to pick up the phone and call and say, hey, you know what, I need to talk to somebody today. It's just a rough day, something like that. And like I said, he's not gonna know who it is, I'm not gonna know who it is. He'll get a spreadsheet that says, here's how many people have taken advantage of it, and it's over and stuff. Now, if that officer, or, you know, it's something to where, hey, they need time off work, that's a different story, it may come down the pipeline of that. But just to have that available, we've never had available. You know, when we had a child death about a year and a half ago here in town, the only thing we could do is we could call chaplain, and the chaplain said to the department, and I told the guys, hey, if you need to talk to somebody, but you know what, they might not want to talk to that person. You know, maybe it's just a random person that they don't even know that they've got the opportunity to talk to. They can just spill it, and that's what they need. And it doesn't, like Ray said, it doesn't have to be work related. It can be anything. It can be your home life. I mean, that's and I was very skeptical at first, and that's the one conversation Ray and I had several times is, you know, I was like, I'm not going to talk to anybody. I'm going to keep it in. I'm going to deal with it myself. It's just how, I mean, in 25 years, did I ever think I was going to talk to a counselor? No. I mean, but sometimes that's what you need, and that's what some people are built different. So I think it's a great program.
Several years ago, it was during an interview, Board of Works interview, I asked you, what happens if an officer, I had fire in mind, but we were doing police interviews, is involved, it was right after Noah, actually in Elwood, is involved in some kind of police shooting or domestic violence or whatever. What recourse do we have to make sure not only they're psychologically fit, but that they're okay to return to duty or anything? And it was kind of like, we don't really have anything. We could maybe get them a counselor, but that would require them coming to you or their leader, which they may not want to do. Nobody wants to do that. So we realized at that time, like, it's a statewide, well, it's probably a nationwide problem. We don't really offer that support unless they want to incur that cost on their own. So Chief Stout called me, I think last week, and it's like, I don't know how we can do it. Like the legal process of, can we give money to a C3 that's not a C3 yet? But it's such a small amount of money for an impact that it sounds like you can eventually incorporate physical wellness into this.
Yes, so this, like I said, is just the first four.
Right.
If we can get this avenue going, that can exploit other avenues that we can take advantage of.
Incrementally grow into other services. And we've talked about providing gym memberships, and physical fitness is a part of their job. It's not like for other departments, but I know that's a nightmare that's a taxable benefit and stuff. But if they can have it and we support the C3, the burden of the taxability on the employee is up to the C3, not us. But the first step is clear. So I don't know, again, the how. If we decide there's got to be some weird way we have to do this, or consult Matt on how we can exactly do it, I'm fine, but I think we really should. If we don't, I can find $1,000 from friends, but
Right.
I think the city should show that we're being proactive in this.
Right.
And it's a small contribution. We can find it in the council budget if we need to. I'd be willing to not pay for other things.
Specifically what?
I'm sure we can decommission some printers or something. I don't know. Tell Leap they can't come 4 more days a year. I don't know.
One note that I did forget to mention that I wanted to bring up was the first conversation about this workers' compensation. IPED had come into it. Unfortunately, and as ridiculous as it sounds, that does not fall under workers' compensation.
Right.
So that is one that we tried early on to see if we could do that, and it wasn't there. And to speak to, like, if we had an officer involved shooting or a death of a responder, right now we borrow from other counties. We in 2014 when Jake died, we borrowed Hamilton counties. They came up and did it. So we would still be partnering with these people, but we can stand alone a little bit to be able to bridge those resources. That's what we're trying to do. That's the overall goal.
All right. If there's anything else?
Move we adjourn. Second.
Motion and second to adjourn the meeting. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Hi.
Aye. Meeting adjourned.
Hey, Chief Bentner, do you remember a part-timer named Max? I have him in class.
Up at IUK?
No, he's at Ivy Tech. He's trying to finish and then go